And
Okay.
there we go.
Ready? Ready?
Yeah, all
All
right.
right. Welcome everybody to Name and Fame. Thank you so much for joining us on our very first episode. In Name and Fame, we'll be talking about topics surrounding around graffiti, hip hop, creative ideas, and more. And today I have the honor of interviewing our host, Toby. I am the co-host, Ronnie. So welcome and thank you guys again so much for joining us. Toby, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Ronnie. Thank you for asking. Thank you for helping me with all this.
Of course.
Hopefully we get a lot of people that are gonna, I don't know, subscribe, I guess, or
Yeah.
watch or be entertained by it. Um, we also should have mentioned that we are gonna be talking about like prison success stories.
Correct.
And
Absolutely.
not the thing where it's like we're talking about like dumb stuff, but just people that have done an X amount of time and have actually done something with their lives.
Absolutely.
And we're also gonna be talking about like creative ideas, but not in the sense where like we're trying to change the world with like
Yeah.
some new like electric vehicle or anything like that. It's just stupid ideas that I wonder why no one's thought of doing that.
Right. I think that's super
Okay.
cool, Toby. Thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, well, you know.
So to start off, for starters, give us a little bit background about yourself and about where you come from and who you are.
Ugh. Okay. Background. Okay. That's a hard one. Okay, so originally I grew up in Boyle Heights.
Okay.
Not to be confused with East LA because I know a lot of people get all weirded out about that. I grew up in Boyle Heights, single mother.
Yeah.
I did have a father, but you know, it's the basic continuous story of everybody's lives. Like, oh, my dad was never present.
Right.
Yeah, single mother. Had a grandmother, grandfather. No sisters, no brothers. Um, Grew up like I don't know. I guess about 70% of the kids in Boyle Heights. Um, Fucking up. You don't really know your identity, so you create one based on what you see.
Yeah.
So what I saw was basically gang members, drug addicts, etc., etc. I didn't really see any Harvard graduates, so you kind of identify with these people and you kind of assume their personalities and their identities.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's who I am. I mean, there's more, I guess, if you want to hear it. I did indulge in graffiti, which I know is illegal, but I did do that. I did spend a whole lot of time in prison, 2 decades and a half. Yeah, I never had a job until I was 39.
Wow.
Not because I didn't want a job or not because like I'm some like lazy fucker, but yeah, I didn't have a job until I was 39 because that's actually when I got out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really interesting.
And funny.
No, it's not funny. It's interesting. So I guess piggybacking off of what you said, I guess I'll ask you like, so you have been incarcerated before, and you did mention you were incarcerated. You said for a decade and a half.
2 decades and a half.
2 decades.
Yeah, two.
2 decades.
Yeah.
You don't even look 2 decades old.
I know. Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
I do a lot of Botox.
Yeah. So what led you to being incarcerated? Like looking at you now, you just seem like such a clean cut, nice man. What led you to leading the lifestyle that led you to be incarcerated?
What led me to that? Okay, so I'm going to take away the victim aspect because I know a lot of people blame their mothers and their fathers and their upbringing. I'm not a big fan of that.
Okay.
I chose to do everything that I did because I wanted to. And I think back then, I don't know, everybody in my era, we all wanted to be fucking Rambo, Sylvester Stallone. We all wanted to be Commando. We all wanted to be, you know, the toughest fucking thing in the world, which we weren't. I wasn't, you know. But actually, you know, the things that I've seen growing up, my upbringing with my family, because my grandfather, grandmother, uncles, you know, my own mother, father, they were all gang related. So it was kind of easy just to fall into that. And I'm not blaming them.
Of course.
I'm not blaming them. I hate when people do that. But yeah, I kind of learned by what I saw, not by what I was told.
Wow.
So I kind of just like, whatever. This is easier. You know, it didn't take much effort. So I chose that route.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So leading up into the incarceration and after the incarceration, what are some things that you feel like you learned during the incarceration that you've been able to take into your daily life since your release?
I know we had this discussion like, I don't know, a couple minutes ago, but
we did.
So I know this sounds kind of like weird and sad, but I try to tell people like, you know what, prison wasn't really a bad place. When I first went in, I remember distinctly a lot of older people telling me like, you know what, prison is what you make it.
Yeah.
I didn't even really understand what that meant until I experienced it. And it's kind of like, you know, you could either go to prison, and I've always thought of prison as, you know, you could be all you can be. You know, if you were never really a gang member or you were like softer than fucking eggshells, you could go to prison and you could recreate your identity. You know, I mean, you really can. I've seen it done. But for me, like, I never wanted to really be that guy. I just was myself. You know what I mean? I had fun in prison. You know, every day. I know it sounds weird. I pretty much did almost anything I wanted to a certain degree, and you know, I made it work. But as far as again going back to prison, like I didn't. It helped me become a better person. I know that sounds fucking crazy, but yeah, it does. And what I mean by that is, when I was younger, I had no structure, I had no guidance. I had no motivation for anything in life other than to do harm to people. So I learned a lot of stuff in prison, like structure, discipline, not being lazy, having goals. Although everything I said was negative, but I reversed it, if that makes any sense. So everything that I learned in prison, I kind of like just continued to, you know, to utilize everything that I learned in there and apply it to today.
Wow.
You know? Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I got lost in that answer because it was just too good.
I know.
I mean, no, I mean, if we talk about turning lemons to lemonade, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, what you just said was exactly that. So I guess in reference to your last answer, I will have to ask you, because you mentioned learning and being able to apply things from prison to your everyday life.
Yeah.
What are those things that you learned in prison that you now apply to your everyday life?
So again, I've never had that victim complex. I used to label it a victim complex because I think what helped me the most to do my time, you know, I did like 24 years. What helped me do that time was I never looked at myself as a victim. I used to hear stories about people blaming their mothers, blaming their fathers, blaming drugs. I never did that.
Yeah.
I took full responsibility for everything that I did. And like I said, I never had a victim complex towards everything. So in prison, you learn, like I said, you learn structure. You know, you get up in the morning at a certain time.
Right.
You know, I know this sounds horrible, but you roll up your mattress. You know, you get dressed, you brush your teeth, you do all this stuff, and you prepare for the day, and whatever that day looks like, because you know it could change. Yeah. You know, somebody could wake up with a hair up their ass. Next thing you know, there's a fucking prison riot going on. So you never really know. So, you know, you have to really mentally prepare for just anything. And today, I use the same, you know, concept because I wake up in the morning, I go to work, and I prepare for whatever the hell's going to happen. So I adjust. And that's what prison teaches you, is to adjust, to adapt to your surroundings, to people. I learned communication skills in prison, which I know sounds crazy, but in prison, I hate to say it, but you know, you don't look at everything black and white. You know, there has to be gray areas. There has to be room for mistakes. There has to be, room for compromise. So, and to compromise, you have to be able to speak to people in a language where they understand.
Absolutely.
Because of the cultural differences, because of people's backgrounds. So with communication, I apply that today. There's certain staff that I have that work under me, and I have to communicate with them in different styles and different methods. Whether they're men, women, whether some of my staff into prison, I could talk to them a certain way, but then I have women, I can't talk to them the same way. So you have to adapt. So that's something else I learned in prison.
Nice.
And also what I learned in prison that I that I'm kind of proud of, I guess, is that I never been the one to sit back and be handed anything. Like I never was a big fan of handouts.
Yes.
Like, don't disrespect me like that. You know what I mean? Like everything that I have now, I like to think that I worked for it.
Nice.
In comparison to most people, I think I'm doing fairly well.
You are.
I think
you're doing exceptionally well. I'm sorry, I have to correct you on that. You are doing exceptionally well.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Absolutely. So my next question definitely will be, do you feel like being incarcerated changed you, whether good or bad? Do you feel like being incarcerated from your incarceration, I'm talking about the moment where you got your sentence up until the moment you got your release, do you feel a change in the person that you are internally at all?
Did it change me? Not really. I think I've always been an angry little kid when I was younger. And I'm not bad mouthing my mother or anything like that, but I know she would use a lot of excessive force when it came to me. She wouldn't like hit me in the in the ass or spank me. Like she'd knuckle fist me. And I remember it got to a point where I think I was about 8 or 7 years old. I would literally start laughing.
Wow.
And tell her, more. I want more. It's fucked up. I know it sounds like sick to say that, but did it change me? I think it didn't change the person I was. I think it just amplified everything. Prison amplifies everything. If you're an evil person or you're an angry person, prison just amplifies everything. You wake up in the morning and you have to really block out a lot of stuff because people are yelling and screaming. Not because they're getting killed or anything like that, but they just they got to yell across the tears and stuff like that. So there's never really any calm and quietness.
Yeah.
So you got to adjust it to that. But no, I don't think it really changed me. I tried looking at it like when I paroled. I still was struggling. I was struggling a lot with the whole generational change, the cultural change.
Right.
I have nothing against gays. Nothing against gays.
Right.
But when I went back to Boyle Heights, I remember I went to go visit my grandmother, and I seen 2 guys walking down the street on Brooklyn. Well, it's not called Brooklyn. It's called Cesar Chavez. And I was like, what the hell? Like, it just like really, it really, excuse me real quick.
No, you're okay.
So it really, it really shocked me. You know what I mean? Like, it was a real cultural shock.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got used to it now. But yeah, I don't think prison really like changed me who I was. It just took a lot for me to adapt to now.
Yeah.
You're talking about back in the 90s,
right?
As opposed to now,
right?
Just everything was just different.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that it was better or worse. I'm not saying that because I don't want to get caught up in some whatever they call this generation bad mouth me or saying the hell with you Gen X or whatever the hell I am. Like no, like Z, no, I'm because I don't. Sure. So I don't want to badmouth this generation because it's kind of like hypocritical.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger, I had everybody and their mothers tell me, why the hell are you wearing those pants? Because I used to wear size 42s.
Right. Yes.
and my waist was like a 29 or something like that. You know, I'm like, what the hell? Like, you're like an idiot.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, now I look at it like, what the fuck were you
know.
doing? We used to wear big jackets,
Yeah.
big ass sweaters. So,
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be that old man
Right.
that talks bad about this new generation, like your skinny jeans and your haircut. I don't. Like,
Right.
hey, it's a style. You know what I mean? It's a style, and if women love it, hey,
Yes.
fuck it. Why not?
Very true.
Why not? You know,
the generational gap is real.
Yeah,
it's so real.
It's so real.
I can respect the fact though that you're like, listen, I don't want to offend your generation because I know what it feels like for the old people to be like.
Because I was offended.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, and I always, you know, and my response to that was like, oh, shut the hell up, you old ass bastard. I'm an old ass bastard, but hey, you know what? I'm good.
They just didn't understand.
Hey, I'm with the color in your hair, purple, green, yellow.
Yes.
You know, handle that. Handle that. If you love it, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Okay. So, 17 years old, right?
Yeah.
That's how old you were when you were incarcerated.
2 months after my 17th birthday, y'all.
2 months after your 17th birthday.
Yeah.
How hard was it for you to hear your sentencing? You said what did you say?
2 decades and a half.
How hard as a 17-year-old who has his whole life ahead of him? And if you could just give us a little background on where your life was headed before you were 18, you know, how hard was that to know that path had been blocked for you?
Okay, so I don't know. I gotta laugh about all this now. So my mom's cousins and her side of the family used to kind of like laugh at me and say like, oh, you know, he's gonna end up dead or he's gonna end up in prison the rest of his life. So hey, being in prison the rest of my life wasn't as bad as being dead, right? So they already foreseen that, they predicted it. So mentally for me, it was already in my head already, like, oh shit, like this is what's gonna happen to me. I'm either gonna end up dead or in prison the rest of my life. So I guess when it happened, I didn't, honestly, I was already prepared for it. I know that sounds weird, but I was already prepared for it. Like I didn't miss anything. I didn't cry about nothing. And I think what made it easier is, you know, I never had kids. I was never married. I never had any obligations. I didn't really have anything, you know, other than just being angry all the time. And that was it. When they sentenced me, I actually thought I was going to get the death penalty, but, you know, that didn't happen. But, and when that was an option, I know this sounds unbelievable, but this is on my dead grandfather's grave. When I got tried for a different crime I allegedly did in the county jail, I asked, like, hey, just give me the death penalty, you know, and not because I'm suicidal.
Right.
I'm not suicidal. I just want to make that clear. So don't call DHS on me and say, hey, he's suicidal.
He's not.
I'm not. But my thing is like, I've always been, and this is something else that I learned in prison too, to be proactive instead of reactive towards everything. Right?
Come on, say that.
Yeah.
Say that. Be proactive instead of reactive.
Not reactive.
I love that.
So I kind of figured, like, you know what? If you're accusing me of this already from the streets and you're accusing me of this, just give me the death penalty, because I figured you're not gonna fucking have me spend the rest of my life in prison. Like, just kill me off.
Right.
It was showing myself mercy, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So when I did get convicted, I ended up getting 15 to life. So I just like, okay, I didn't. The only person that was actually there was my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of my family they didn't really give a fuck. You know what I mean? So my uncle was there. Yeah, my uncle was there, and I didn't feel anything because I already mentally prepared for it.
Jeez.
You know? So yeah, I prepared for it. Yeah.
I don't even remember the question I asked. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, wow.
Yeah. Well, you asked about like, the sentencing. How did I feel
right at that age? Because I'm like, you're only 17. They say your brain is not developed until you're 21 anyway.
25.
There we go. Even worse. 25. Yeah. So as a 17-year-old, hearing that you have 15 years to life, I'm like, you know, how awful. Do you feel like your whole world is coming crashing down? Do you feel like your life is over? But it almost sounds to me like you made the best of what you had.
Well, I mean, you don't really have a choice, and going back to what this older guy told me, he says, you make prison, prison is what you make out of it. And like I said, I didn't understand that idea or that concept when I think I was like 18. I was in Supermax, and he said that I didn't fully grasp that until I actually went to prison.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that, another good thing I could say about prison, which I use today, is I've always used other people as an example of what not to do.
Tell me more.
Yeah,
I'm really interested to know how that works.
Well, this gets funny.
Okay.
So, again, I was a kid. I was a kid when I went to prison. I didn't know shit. I didn't even have any hair on my face, or all these white hairs on this left side of my eyebrow, which bugs the shit out of me. But I didn't really know shit. Other than I was in high power for 2 years. I had the privilege and the honor of doing time with certain people that took the time to like um I mean, yeah, I was indoctrinated, but they were helping me. It's the best help that they understood how to give me, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
So what I mean was, by I would learn from other people is, and when I first went to prison, I went to Salinas Valley State Prison, and I seen we opened up that yard in '97, and I seen a lot of people get stabbed, worse, other stuff. Mm-hmm. And I never asked any questions, because that's one of the things that I learned long ago not to do. Don't ever ask questions. But when information came to me, I was like, oh shit, I know not to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And mainly a lot of it, what I really understood was it was people's mouths that got them in trouble. Excuse me. It was people's mouths. It was gambling. It was always drugs. Okay. So in my mind, I was thinking like, okay, I'm not gonna do drugs. I'm not gonna gamble. I'm not gonna get involved in certain things unless somebody asks me, if that makes any sense. And I don't want to go too much into that detail, but yeah, I pretty much learned from other people's mistakes, and I apply that even to today.
That's what's up, Toby. Like, no, that's really what's up. So where you stand as a man today, and where you were as a 17-year-old kid, what would you do differently?
Where do I stand today?
Yes.
So not much has really changed. I mean, not much has really changed. I know a lot of my staff and a lot of the friends that I have. They could pretty much tell you like, oh, this fucker still acts like a little kid, and I do. Like, I don't know if you really paid attention to everything in here. I have PlayStations everywhere. I have Star Wars shit everywhere.
Wow.
So yeah, like mentally, I don't think I ever really grew up.
Okay.
I'm just a 50-year-old guy trapped in a fucking 15-year-old's fucking mind frame. Yeah. I'm just trapped like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. And how does that work for you? Like, how, like you said, you're 50-year-old trapped 50. 50. It's not giving 50.
Drop the mic.
It's not giving 50, Toby, at all. But a lot of people look up to you. Right? This is true. A lot of people look up to you, and you taught a lot of people a lot of things, Toby. So that has to go back to the fact that even at an early age, you being incarcerated, you must have learned so much at that time, Toby, that you were able to get released. And tell us some of the things that you learned while you were in jail, like some of the certificates you got, some of the degrees. Tell us some of that.
Okay, well, let me answer this real quick. I didn't get out because I was such a great person. I got out only because of Senate Bill 260. Oh, so let's just make that. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Pause.
Yeah, I did.
You did not get out on good behavior.
No.
So what was your sentence? Let's start there.
Well, originally I had 15 years to life.
15 years to life is what you were sentenced to.
Yeah.
When you were released, what were you released on? You said Senate Bill what?
Okay, so again, I don't want to go into details about all this, but in prison, you really want to do the best you can to a certain degree, but stuff happens.
Yeah.
This doesn't matter to me anymore, but I paroled from what they will call like a main line.
Okay.
Yeah, and people that know, they know what I'm talking about. And I'm not glorifying that. I don't really give a shit about that. Okay. But the law changed. There was a lot of people that were advocating for a lot of us to go home because a lot of us were under the age of 18, under the age of 17. So going back to what you said about, people's minds don't fully develop until 21, you said, but really it's 25. Mm-hmm. So that argument worked in my favor because again, I got arrested when I was 17. So because the law changed, they weren't gonna like re-sentence me or anything like that, but they just figured, you know what? Because he was under the age of 18, we're gonna kind of like look at him as if he did get tried as a juvenile. So had I got tried as a juvenile, I would have got out when I was 24, 25 years old.
Yeah. So wait, hold on. Yeah. Sorry. Wait, so you're saying when you were sentenced as a juvenile, if you were sentenced as an adult, at a juvenile age, but had you been sentenced as a juvenile, you would have been out on adult life sentence, right?
No, if I would have got tried as a juvenile, I would have been out at 25 years old. But hold on, hold on.
Okay.
I'm actually glad I didn't get out when I was 25.
Why?
Okay, so if we're gonna be real about this shit,
yes.
At 25, I was still doing stupid shit.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. Okay. If they would have released me from 25 years old, I probably would have went back again. Okay. And again, like, well, who knows? Who really knows? You know what I mean? But I believe, I would have went back. I would have kept going back and forth. Paroling at 39 years old, I was still kind of a little fucked up in the head, but I don't know. Like, because I'm going to tell you something funny. I don't even know why I'm admitting to this. So, and then I'll tell you what skills and degrees and shit I got.
I forgot,
My first month out, Ronnie, and I haven't told too many people this because it was kind of embarrassing, but at the end of the day, I don't really give a fuck no more. 30 days out, I remember I was in a van with a bunch of other guys that were ex-lifers. Okay. We were going to, I think, the Francisco homes. If I'm not mistaken, it was a bunch of ladies that were considered sisters. Okay. And they were having like a ceremony. Okay. It was a ceremony of freedom release. Mm-hmm. I remember when I was in the van, I was just thinking like, fuck, I don't want to be out here. Mm. I hate it out here. I didn't understand anything about out here. Mm. The women back in my day, they were beautiful, but they kind of, kept stuff hidden. Yeah. First time I went to, I think I took the subway. Is it the subway train? I think it's a subway train. Right in MacArthur Park, I seen women walking around with everything was showing. Don't get me wrong. I was enjoying the view of it, but I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was just like so strange to me. And while I'm sitting in that van, all I kept thinking about was like, wow, man, like I really left my only family in there. Like, they're suffering.
Meaning the people in jail?
Yeah. Okay. So I actually started crying. It was the first time I ever fucking cried. Like, well, I cried when I was a little kid. Of course. I'm pretty sure I did, But yeah, I was crying and I was so angry because I wanted to go back. Mm. Yeah, wow. I wanted to go back. I was like, this ain't for me. But luckily, I still had contact numbers and, my really, I'm not going to say my homeboys no more because I'm trying to avoid using that terminology, but a lot of my good friends, my brothers, they were telling me like, come on, man, like, you got to rough it out, like, we're trying to get out, get out, don't fuck it up, don't do anything stupid. because I wanted to. I was just like, fuck this. Like, it's better in there. Everything, and it's not that it's better in there. It's just everything's easier. It's more simpler. Out here, like, out here, I have a mortgage to pay now. I have insurance for 2 motorcycles. I have insurance for the wannabe sports car. I have my bills. I have other stuff, and it's like it gets a little overwhelming, and it's like, damn, everything was so much easier in there. Like, all my food came to me. I had to cook nothing. I didn't really have to like select what clothes I wanted to wear that day. Everything was just the same.
You already had the same thing.
Blue shirt, blue pants, my kicks,
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then, you go outside, go have fun, fuck around, exercise. There wasn't any like choices, decisions to be made. Everything was just mapped out for you. So
yeah, and now you're in general population. Will we consider this the general population?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you got the rent, you got the bills, you got the responsibilities, and you're absolutely correct. There's a lot of people who stay in jail just to avoid the responsibilities of life.
But it is sad though, because actually they victimized themselves. You know what I mean? That's something that I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and you haven't. I mean, this entire interview, I can say, like, you taking full accountability. Like, you put nothing on nobody. And, like, I hate that, because I'm like, I want you to be able to put it on somebody else, but I respect the fact that you just take responsibility for your actions, And you did mention, family members making certain statements as he's going to be dead or in jail for. No, seriously. And then your uncle being the only one at the court date with you when you got sentence. So that leads me to ask you my next and final question, which is, did you feel like you had the family unit that maybe you were looking for in jail? Because you mentioned it brought you to tears for the first time. So I'm wondering, did you finally reach that family unit in jail?
Okay, so here's where the tears came from. And again, I wanna make this abundantly clear. Like, if this podcast is successful, which I hope it is, and if we're able to continue with this, again, I want to make it clear, like, I'm not promoting prison bullshit. I'm not promoting gang activity. I'm not glorifying any of that. Like, for what? I think it's, I'm gonna keep my opinion to myself. You know what I mean? But for those that do it, cool. I mean, whatever. Everybody got to eat, right? Everybody got to eat. But I think when you spend time with people, right? And you experience the atrocities. I'm gonna use that word in its full definition. When you experience the atrocities of prison and you see people that you grew up with. I mean, all my friends that I have today, that are ex-lifers, I grew up with them. I experienced the good in their life, the bad in their life. I don't want to go into details, but a lot of my friends that I have today, we fought together. Sometimes with our backs against the wall, sometimes in circumstances you kind of ask yourself, like, wow, how the fuck did we get out of that? And again, I'm not going into detail, but you build a strong connection with these guys, and it is like family, like, of course they're not my biological brothers, but they're the closest things that I have to that. And that's why, like, when you take yourself out of that element, you start questioning yourself, and like, you start questioning yourself, like, wow, like, I wish they were here. And when you wish and wish and wish and wish, it don't come true, you start thinking, like, well, maybe I should just go back in there. So I mean, I don't know, it's just, it's a lot of mental chaos, I guess, people go through in prison, and that's kind of what I want this podcast to be centered around. You know, I don't want it to be based on solely prison or, you know, oh hey, how many people you stabbed? Like nobody gives a shit. You know, oh how many riots? Nobody gives a shit. You know what I mean? I mean I don't, and I don't want to promote that because, you know, it's just it sends a negative. It's just a negative vibe altogether. You know, I want this podcast to be about people that are getting out of prison. You know, what are the struggles that you're going through right now? Like, how are you adapting? You know, how are you acclimating yourself into what you're seeing with your own eyes? Like, you know, how? You know, like, what is your first job interview looking like? What is your resume looking like? I just helped a good friend of mine with his resume. And, you know, we kind of like tweaked it out a little bit. You know, he had yard crew worker, porter, but these are the jobs you have in prison. So I kind of like tailored them a little bit.
Oh wow!
We use that word manipulation.
Yes.
You know, and that's something like I want to do, and I'm happy to do that. And with him, like I would love for him to be here. I would love for him to tell us, you and I, about like how is it, man? Like what are you going through? Because it sucks. You know, it sucks because when I first got out, I really had nobody to talk to. You know, and nobody really understood. Yeah. You know, and again, and that sounds like a victim, but it's not. It's just that if you really know what I'm talking about, whoever's watching this, you know, if you've been in there for 10 years, 15, or even 5, you know, whatever, then you know what I'm talking about. Like, you know, you do get mentally worked out. You know, and for my friend, you know, I'm pretty sure he'll come on here. You know, we are going to talk about like, hey, like, don't get frustrated, you know, because people do get frustrated. Yeah. You know, they resort to what they feel comfortable with. Right. They resort to what they do best. Right. And sometimes in prison, people did things that were illegal, but it's how they made it, how they made it through, how they survived. Yeah. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. And about the whole like skills and
achievements.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, oh god, this sounds horrible. I only did shit just to appease the board of prison hearings. I only, you know, yeah, whatever. I don't give a shit. I'm out now. They can't do it to me. You know what I mean? I'm out. Fuck you guys. I don't give a shit. You know, the district attorney that was there, eat a dick. The ex-cops that were there, eat a dick.
They have to. Just you guys gotta edit that. Please edit that part out.
I don't give a fuck. I'm out here. So yeah, you know, you play the game. You know, technically, I can be a plumber if I wanted.
Come on, talk about it.
Technically, I could do masonry.
Come on.
Do drywall, brick, all that stuff. Yes. Building maintenance.
Nice.
I was majoring in psychology. Okay. For all the wrong reasons. I do have my associates in human services. Facilitated a lot of groups. Nice. But yeah, you know, I did it not because I truly wanted to. It was just, you know, you play the game. Yeah. You know, you play the game or the game plays you. Like, what are you gonna pick? What do you want? So yeah. Wow.
But here you stand today, and you have achieved all of those things. And then myself, as someone who has a father who was incarcerated most of my life, I want to thank you for opening this safe space to be able to have these conversations and have these talks. I feel like it's super important. I really do. And thank you for being so transparent today and sharing your story with us.
Not that transparent.
On the podcast that you created, Name and Fame. And I just think that this is super extra special for you to be the first person to be interviewed on Name and Fame. And thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure. And I definitely learned so much more than I ever knew I could learn today. So thank you so much. And thank you guys so much for joining us today on Name and Fame. And we'll see you again for our next episode.
Hopefully.
You will.
Because I got people lined up right now. So, yes. I mean, you know, hopefully people get a kick out of this. Hopefully people don't badmouth me. And if you do, it's okay. No. It's okay. Because I see pretty good. It's okay. I'm not going to take offense to that. And if you do get me that mad, maybe I might show you my bank account. I don't know. But
we don't want to see the bank account.
But it's okay. It's okay though.
No,
badmouth me if you want. I don't really care.
Seriously though, this is the mastermind behind it all, and I want you guys to know that we have some really great interviews coming up, where you guys are gonna see the world from a different view. You know, you guys are gonna see incarcerated and people who have been prisoners or imprisoned. You guys are gonna see that from a different view, and I'm super excited for that, Toby, for real.
So am I.
Yeah, so we are super excited for that, and we can't wait to see you guys again on our next episode of Name and Fame.
Thank you. And maybe the next episode we'll get into what the name is actually about. And maybe you guys will get a laugh out of that.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that. Yeah. That is so good. Yes, to know the root of where the name of Name and Fame comes from. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into that, Toby.
Let's do it.
For sure.
All right.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening to my retarded.
It was good, Toby. You did great.